Take a moment and think about the last order that you made. Were they puzzles that were kind of hyped, that a bunch of people were talking about, that someone else suggested to you? I asked a few other friends of mine what their last puzzles were, and a lot of people said Yu Shao Pro, Chi Volt, MF3RS, a lot of puzzles that were really kind of marketed, hyped. But why? Why do we hype puzzles so much? Why do we get so excited for these new releases? Well, really, there are three major reasons why. Part of it comes down to psychology. I did a quick Google search for reasons we buy things and came across something called the Diderot Effect. In the 1700s, there was a French philosopher named Diderot who, impoverished for most of his life, came across a bit of money, about the equivalent of $50,000 today. After securing all his financial needs, he had plenty of money to spare and he bought a fine scarlet robe. He realized, though, that all his other stuff looked poor and shoddy, not like his new robe. He had to get things to match it, developed a taste for finer things, and before long, he was deep in debt. That's the Diderot effect. When you have one possession of high quality, you want to buy more to match. So I know from experience that the Diderot effect is a completely real thing. I fell face first into it when I started cubing. So I started out, like I said before, a friend referred me and kind of taught me how to do it. I was content with like my basic set of Amazon cubes. Typical basic puzzles, right? And then my uncle came down, showed him my hobby, and he was all impressed and stuff. And he thought, wow, I'm going to get you something. I'm going to get you a little gift. Thank you, Uncle Ethan. I recently discovered some YouTube stuff and I found J.R. Cuber and I found his review line. So started watching some of that and I thought, oh, the Mei Ying sounds cool. So I asked him for a Mei Ying. He got it for me, and that's what set it off. That was the scarlet robe from that example. That is what I wanted. So that kind of gave me a taste for finer things and better puzzles. I wanted things to match. I didn't want everything to be like disparate sets. I wanted everything to be good puzzles. So I started getting stuff like the GAN 357, the old Weilong V2. I just started building up and getting a full WCA set, and that's just a spiral. I started becoming obsessed with releases and puzzles and stuff, and that's what started. I just had that one Mei Ying, and I was like, oh, there are good puzzles that exist. Now I need every single one of them. All this to say, the Mei Ying was a tipping point, and at that point I didn't even want puzzles just because they were nice or because they fit with the set. I wanted them because they were new. Novelty is something that we all chase. It's the same rush you feel when you open up an Amazon package or a birthday present or someone gives you something. It's novelty, it's new. It's why people build PCs or collect anything or start cubing. It's novelty, it's new, it's interesting, it's fun, it's a rush of dopamine, and that's what you're aiming for. It's just like the way people solve. A lot of people say it's dopamine, it's all the reward system. You get the same thing when you order new puzzles, when you open up that Speed Cube Shop package, that Cubicle package or whatever. It's the same feeling of achievement. Hey, I have something new that I didn't have. It's novelty, and that's what we're chasing with it. But just because something is new doesn't mean it's better. A puzzle that had a world record in 2013 can still get that world record in 2017. It's just there are other things that are slightly better than it. And there are some good puzzles. There are some new releases that really change things up. Valk 3, that's something that I like. But again, it's not all about novelty. I've had this exact puzzle since September 7th, 2016 in a video that you can actually see right here. I've actually had it, and it's the same thing. It's gone through a few changes and iterations. I magnetized it, lubricated, tensioned, and everything, but it's the same exact puzzle in that video. And that's from back before I actually had good videos. That's from when I was on my desk with an old stack mat and a phone camera. Hey guys, welcome to Cube Dudes. My name is Ryan, and today I've got another unboxing from Speed Cube Shop. So that's survived all the changes to the channel, and while the channel keeps getting newer and newer, this is still the same puzzle, and it still works for me. I still have all my PBs on it. So it's not just because something's new means it's better, and that's the problem when people chase novelty. So we talk a lot about the individual, but we're really ignoring the group factor, which is one of the biggest things that comes into play here when you're talking about puzzle hype. Anyone who's hung out with their friends or been to high school or read Lord of the Flies know that people think differently when they're in a group. It's group mentality. It's a proven psychological thing. And part of that is that the cubing community is in every way an echo chamber. People just bounce these ideas back and forth and just keep talking about, oh, this is going to be great. Oh yeah, I heard from this guy it's going to be great. Bam, it's fact now. It's not fact. That's just what happens. People think, oh, wow, this is going to be the best release. Yeah, this is going to fix everything that MoU's ever done wrong. It's not going to. Anyone who has ordered a copy of No Man's Sky knows that things can be talked up without them really being that successful. It's proven. People will get excited for things more when they're in a group. And that's why we're never going to get something like Half-Life 3, for example. We keep talking it up, getting excited, where there's no way that they can match the mythologue that we've set for it. It's not going to happen, because if it does, it'll guarantee to disappoint us because it's not going to be the perfect game. That's the same thing with puzzles. Now, that's not to say that once in a while there aren't things that kind of shake things up. Like I said, the Valk was one of them. The Zhanchi was one of them in its time. But sometimes we get absolute crap releases, like the Senwan Mars, which was awful. But people thought, hey, it's going to be pretty good. It wasn't, but we hyped it to be. So what is it that we do about this? What's the solution? Well, there really shouldn't be one. Just be more aware of when you're looking at things. Actually watch the product demonstration videos that are set out by Moyu, Qiyi, Yushin, whatever company is making the puzzle. Just watch the video, the testing, watch the Everybody Solves videos by the major stores. Look up reviews before you buy things. Actually try and think objectively when you're purchasing stuff, because otherwise you're going to fall into the echo chamber and get excited. The one thing that kind of tipped me over for this and made me realize that I'm an idiot for overhyping things was the Chuwen. Right? I watched the product demonstration videos and I was like, oh, that sounds different. It's going to be cool. That kind of built on a bunch of people getting excited for the new 2x2, and everyone was like, oh, the Chuwen is going to be amazing. It's amazing. It's not. The Gogwan was better, but I didn't know that until I had both and I had spent my money. And that's just a fact of life. It's going to be something that you see everywhere in all aspects of life. Think objectively and actually go for the ones that are real. Look for the actual good releases. And with that, thanks for watching.